Hey guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. This week I feel like I'm keep talking about some heavier topic. But anyway, that's a reason for it. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also psychic. Today, I want to give you guys some tips about how to stop walking on the eggshell. It's just a term when we're dealing with some people, we're always hopping around, afraid to step down on our foot, right? So the reason of this is because, the example around my life or I have various clients asking me the question regarding to this, right? So I'm pretty sure some point in our life, we're always dealing with someone who may have some mental illness problem. Here, particularly, I'm not talking about very severe mental illness problem, which we will come back and talk about what caused it and then what's the test of light later on of the episode. But here, we're talking about high functional mental illness. What is high functional mental illness? It means they can function daily life, right? But it seems like whenever there's a conversation happening or whenever there's certain event happening, they have this emotional swing, like they cannot control, or they seem to, their mind simply cannot register what logic is telling them to do. You know what I mean? So they can live 80% normal life, right? But it's just that 20% of their behavior or their reaction seems to jeopardize the 80% of their regular life. That I would say is highly functional mental illness people, right? So here, I noticed, or throughout the years, I've been dealing with quite a lot of clients of this too. So, I notice one common things people react or respond to the people like this is very often in the back of their heads called, there's nothing I can do with them. You know what I mean? So I already said this so many times. You probably heard me say this so many times in the previous episode and episode before. Once you have that mindset in believing there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? So that's very often I see people bring their, mental illness, friends or somebody, and then you right away without it saying, you can already see that message in their eyes. There's nothing I can do, because they were very well trained by their, in bipolar friends or emotional swing friend or whatever. So they are so trained. What they do not know is they are actually so trained by them. Therefore, they are already accepting the command. There's nothing I can do with them. Right? So if you continue to have that command living with them, there's nothing you can do. I can repeat so many times, you simply manifest your own reality, right? If you believe there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. Right. So very often this society somehow train us, or because nobody ever teach us how, or somewhat, this society teach us to, there's no cure for it, right? We can give them medicine, we can numb their thing, but they're still gonna do whatever they do. So since young age, if we ever notice someone have this kind of emotional swing, or we notice they have that kind of mental illness, and we do not know what to do, very often we will give up in a young age. There's nothing I can do. Therefore, because we believe there's nothing they can do, very seldom we held them accountable or responsible for their behavior. We almost start from a young age, we don't introduce consequence. You know what I mean? Because we, in our mind, just don't believe they will understand, or they will ever understand. Because that kind of mentality, what ends up happening is that behavior will only become worse as they grow older. You know what I mean? So it will get to a point when they are maybe adult, we just give up on them altogether. You know what I mean? So you need to understand, if they come to wherever they are, it's because we allow them to become wherever they are right now. Based on, we have a command in the back of our head called, there's nothing I can do with them, right? So because of this kind of mentality, we then also give out a message to those people who got so-called high functional mental illness people, saying you don't have to be responsible of things. So that means they can throw their emotion everywhere. They don't have to care about it. They can simply tell people, because I have mental problem, or they can, just spill, be rude, be disrespectful, be, whatever, because deep down they know, there's nothing you can do with me. So you need to understand in this universe, everything is two-way. Whatever information or whatever aspect you give it out, you're gonna get that back, okay? So I'm not saying everybody's like this. Of course, I continue seeing example of parents don't believe there's nothing they can do. So they continuously showing the evidence there's something they can do about that, even though they have a mental illness kids, or even though they have things. They have things like most of people think there's nothing they can do about. You know what I mean? So here, throughout the year of consultation or study and, case study or whatever it is, I do notice there is a way that you can stop walking on the eggshell. The reason how you can stop walking on the eggshell, the first thing you have to stop thinking is there's nothing you can do, because there's always something you can do, right? No matter what your kids here, as I say, I'm talking about high functional mental illness people. That means 80% of the time they can function like the normal people, but 20% of the time they can't, right? So for the people like that, in this whole circumstance that happened, that's one thing that we overlook. That is called muscle memory. And then you guys have to remember, it's called muscle memory. The reason I bring this up is you will know. If you continue to introduce something over and over, day and night, 3 times a day, 5 times a day, and over, eventually your muscle will simply do it without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Muscle memory doesn't require emotion, doesn't require mental healthy, but it's something that you do every day. You know what I mean? So it's the same way as we raising the kids. How do we make sure the kids have certain habits, right, that we really want them to have? It's by repetition, that by continue doing the same thing. That's why you hear a lot of parents always say to the kid, no, 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 no. You know what I mean? Eventually, that no stick to their head. So it will get to a point before they're even gonna do it, their muscle already saying no to them. You know what I mean? So now I'm talking about average people. That means you have no problem. That you already see it take a lot of time to train you into it, right? So for the people who have a little bit mental illness problem, they take longer time to register that signal. You know what I mean? So for normal people, it might take 20 times to continue repeating the same thing for them to say, I get it, right? So if you like, you sometimes reason to them. They might even understand the reason. Now, you're looking at someone who is high functional mental illness people. What do is you make sure that habits stick. Right? For example, if they like to always scream and yell, you tell them no. If that doesn't work, you pull them away. So eventually, they will get it, right? If they really like that scenario and then they couldn't control their emotion, but every time they do that, they can pull away. They pull that, they pull away. Do that for 100 times. Next time they do that, they know they're gonna get pulled away. You know what I mean? So that is what I try to tell you called muscle memory. In this regard, it's not like you have to punish them. You have to punish them, or you have to yell at them, or you have to get frustrated with them. You simply treat them as you are re-educating young kids. You know what I mean? So as you guys must all know, as you get older, it's harder to break a habit, right? If they the majority of their life believe, hey, I can just say whatever I want when I'm pissed off, or when I can just, do that because I don't have to hold responsible. Anything on my wrongdoing is all my disease cause, right? Trust me, a lot of people do that, right? I get it. As older they get, it will be harder to break the habit. Just understand, since you're neglecting it, you allow it to develop this long, you have to take equal amount of time, or sometimes even more, to break that habit. We all know for a normal human being, take how many days? 21 days to break a habit. How are you going to make sure those people who have some mental illness problem to break certain habits, to introduce new muscle memory, expect 100 days for it? You know what I mean? Expect at least 100 days, because you have to continuously introduce the same thing over over. Instead of, oh, I better not say that because they're going to get emotional. Oh, I better not do that because they're going to go crazy. Oh, I better not do that, which most of us do when we're dealing with that. Why? Because we are always avoid confrontation. We don't want to deal with that. It's too much work. You know what I mean? It's easier for me to cook the egg for my kid instead of worrying they're going to get burned. But yeah, if I continue doing that every day for 21 days, eventually she can cook the egg and I can sleep for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to show it, introduce it to you. Even you introduce a new habit, we call at this point, when you're dealing with high functional mental illness people, disregard your emotion, discard, mental, emotional attachment. But what you were focusing on is muscle memory. How can I introduce a muscle memory to them? How can I make them sure before they wanna speak out or start swearing at people, there's consequence. And then that consequence is something they don't like, right? If I continue doing that, yes, at the beginning, guys, I will warn you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, but it is worth it because once that muscle memory stay, they will know before they do it because they don't have to use their logic to think. They don't have to use their emotional to feel because they simply know I do that, that's what happened. I do this is what happened. You know what I mean? So what you would do is you simply treat it as you are re-educating your kids, right? The amount of patience that you're willing to devote will get you the result that you wanted. So anyway, today I'm just going to quickly talk about it. I mean, as I say, a lot of case study, I can talk about this forever, but just give you guys a different aspect of looking at things. If you do have people who is high functional mental illness people surrounding you, instead of thinking, oh my God, there's nothing I can do, instead of thinking you can make their life better, you know what I mean? That's also another common mistake that I see. Two extreme, nothing I can do, totally give up, or I try everything to make their life better, right? So one way or the other, they ruin our life. Now, I think the best way for you to handle this is treat them like a brand new baby. You know what I mean? Your baby might be responding slowly to certain command. You cannot reason to them. That's okay. This baby doesn't matter how old they are. They can be 5 years old, they can be 30 years old, or they can be 70 years old or 80 years old. It doesn't matter. Now look at them like a brand new person, and you're gonna introduce something. You're going to introduce a behavior. And what would that behavior be? Because you will make sure you continue saying the same thing. Mind you, it will take you at least 100 times to get it start to show because they simply respond a little bit slower than normal people. You know what I mean? And especially for those who've been most of their life embrace, they don't have to be accountable or responsible for their action. Those might take even extra time to make it right. You know what I mean? But if you continue, just because they haven't learned to handle their emotion, just because their mental may not be fully developed, that doesn't mean they don't have ability to be responsible for things. That doesn't mean they don't have ability to be accountable for things. So those are the things you can start introduce at young age, hopefully, or not start from now, but treat it like a muscle memory. How can I introduce that to them? You know what I mean? So instead of getting yourself all emotional, wind up and always hopping around, you simply doing the same thing over and over and over again until that muscle memory stick with them. So anyway, just a little idea to share with you guys, and I really hope that will help. I know it's hard when, especially for us, to deal with someone like, we have emotional attachment to. So, hope this will give you guys a little bit different way of looking at things, and then if we need to, we can talk more in the future. So anyway, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook or go to subscribe my YouTube channel, or go to my website, ruowen.com. And I hope you all have a nice weekend.